Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and for today's video on Umamusume, we're going to talk about the upcoming Uma that is Admire Vega. Now, like all my coverage of all my Umas, we'll go over the stat bonuses, the aptitudes, as well as the skills, and whether or not she's going to be a good Uma for you to pull for, kind of related to everything else that is around her. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Admire Vega is, well, we just go right to the stat bonuses. She's right off the bat starting strong. I really like 20% in stat bonus power because it is, to me, the hardest one to hit as you're trying to get all your power from sparks and speed hits. So when you don't have a bonus there, it's going to be really, really tricky to get really high power. In Unity Cup, you're at that point, you're just trying to get like the bubbles to pop off on there to get some extra stats as well. Now, Trailblazer will be a little bit different. You can, if you're going heavy on race bonus, you have the 2 power cards that you can bring with, but it's still really nice to see that there. So you can make her really strong on the stat side of things with this setup. Now, when it comes to aptitudes, another thing I like to see on her, she's got 3 things she's A in, so it's going to be a lot easier to get pink sparks off of her when it comes to parent, grandparent making with turf, medium, and end. But she has C in long and mile, so you can easily build her for mile long, which is kind of funny because to me the strongest distances for Umas at this point are for the enclosures are miles and longs because they're the ones that have the best place for activating straightaway spurt and encroaching shadow in a very good position on most tracks, longs for sure, and so it's pretty good right there. Now I will say kind of something to note with Trailblazer being mile C. While you'll hear it, C works. You can win the races with C in Trailblazer, and that's kind of your goal. Just know that you're going to lose them more often with C, and you're going to blow your clocks. And that's one thing I don't want to do is blow through all my clocks super early, because I do a lot of runs to build my aces. So C is actually a nice one, just because you can just put 1 mile spark on her, bring it up to B, and then to me, she's good to go. B is going to be way more consistent on getting wins in those G2s and G3 miles, and even G1 miles when you're doing them for Trailblazer, because you definitely don't want to blow through your clocks too quickly early on. And so C's just like, Narita Taishin's already a pain because she's D, and now I'm trying to get 4 sparks for that. Tamamo Cross having F, oh my goodness, she's not going to be a fun one to build in Make a New Track. But that's just a Trailblazer Make a New Track scenario specific thing, but something to take a note of for her. Now we kind of get into her unique. I really don't like her unique, and it kind of ties into her entire kit and how she overall works. Because I really think maybe they are trying to build her around being more of a medium gambler Uma versus being long and mile. And you can kind of see it in here. Shooting for the star, increased velocity with the guidance from the stars when far from the lead on the final straight. If positioned around the very back, greatly increased velocity instead. And so if she's in the back, so if she has like less than 7, or she's in 5th through 6th place, she gets a 0.35 on that final straight. If she's in 7th or later, she gets a 0.45, a very big speed increase. Now, like on a long, you've already seen how well this can work with like my Tamamo Cross on Libra Cup. While her ult can activate in the late, last straight in the late race, or early, kind of like a gold ship ult to push her up. The downside to this one is if you build her very, very strong, which is kind of your goal with high wit, high power, and she pushes, and then you get maybe it's going to be you cannot get Daring Strike on her because that's coming right now from the Admire Vega power card. But once we get Wit, Mr. CB, you get Daring Strike. You have Tail Held High. You get Professor of Curvatures, and she's just strong stat wise. She might push herself too far forward to even activate any of this, and then all of her stuff is dead in the water, especially on the longs where this final straight is quite a bit after. She's taken off from straightaway spurt, so she may already be and you very likely want her to be already in 4th or higher once you get to that point. This is where it's kind of making me feel like it's more of a medium one, where she's in the back on the medium on this, and you come into the curve, and then you pair like straightaway spurt with her ult, so she accelerates up to this higher speed and then just launches herself. But then that means she's not going to be as strong, in my opinion, going with that direction. And then you kind of see the rest of that in her kit here as well. You have Nimble Navigator. One nice thing there is we're losing access to, or easy access to Nimble Navigator / No Stopping Me. So you have to kind of get it off support cards. But she has it built right in. Don't really care about Tether or Level-Headed too much here. Now, Level-Headed is the white of her gold heal here, Serenity. Really don't like this one as it's more conditional than, say, even Sleeping Lion. I feel like it's easier to get than this one. In that the away head has to be jammed to activate it. To me, yes, it can work, but it's just too much of a conditional. Just get Swinging Maestro or something on her, and it's just way more consistent. Masterful Gambit, as you can see, is another one. Towards the back, late race. Sturm and Drang is another. It's the gold version of Masterful Gambit. Another position towards the back, late race. And so I really just don't like that, especially because I use mostly my enclosures on longs, and I'm hoping they're far forward by the time we're getting to late race. And then you have Straightaway Spurt built in. That's one nice thing. You can get that off her. You have encloser corners, straightaways. You also have the medium straightaways, which is another one where it kind of feels like she's more tied to mediums. Straightaway adept. I will say, though, with the encloser skills, they are in her secret event. And so those will not be easily accessible in the Track Blazer Make a New Track scenario. So just take note. That's one thing you have to take note of with all these Umas you're pulling on going forward, in that there are things in her events that they will not be able to get during Make a New Track and Track Blazer. Now, after that, you'll be able to get them. So if like it's an Oshi or something, down the line, they will be accessible. But it's just something you want to take note of for the upcoming, I think, 5 or 6 scenarios in the Track Blazer scenario. And then kind of the last thing, we'll take a look at how they evolve these skills when we get evolutions. So on the heal, it basically adds a target speed to it, but it's still got that, it's still got a conditional thing to me. Not as bad, I think, because this one is another girl in front of you. While this one needs it to be, I think, is it the same? It's just kind of worded different. Yeah, it looks like it is still the way jammed ahead kind of setup. But I don't like that. I don't like the condition on it. And that's one of her evolutions. So overall, not too crazy there. Then Storm and Drug. The description of the skill changed. Okay. Is it just, I think it's just increasing the speed. Yeah, it goes from 0.35 to 0.45, and it looks like it's all still pretty much same thing. I don't like that. It's tied to her being in the back, and I like my end closers to push as far forward as they can and then just launch themselves, especially on the longs. That's just how you've seen. Now, we had like the No Stopping Me gamble, which I think will be very decent for her if you use her. Just she has it built in, but you can easily get it if you have like Fine Motion off of her on a build. You pair that with Straightaway Spurt. She has the 2 main ones, though, that you want. Straightaway Spurt and Nimble Navigator for the long. So you have that. But you already have other options. That's the one problem, is you have, like, Mayano Top Gun might be a strong option for people because she has the gold No Stopping Me. And then you just get Straightaway Spurt on her, and bam, she's ready to go for longs. Her ult's pretty decent. I think a lot easier to trigger than hers. If you get, Daring Strike, and like Tail Held High, Professor of Curvature on like a Mayano Top Gun, which is a more free to play unit because everybody should have her, then you're gonna have a way easier time. Narita Taishin have an Encroaching Shadow, very strong compared to Straightaway Spurt, and now a lot of these other ones, I will say, their mile's not as easy to accept. Now, Goldship has C mile, so she's in the same position. All she needs is 1 mile spark to take her to mile B to make Track Blazer much easier to complete. But Narita Taishin having D is going to be a little bit more of a pain because you're going to need double the Umas with mile sparks, which means it's going to be harder to get that long S. That's more of a time commitment problem versus really... Now, Tamamo Cross needing 10 is going to take even longer to try and get long S. And if you want to try and get that Turf S, long S, even harder on Tamamo Cross, because of all the mile sparks you're going to want to bring her up from F. So you have that convenience, but to me, it's just not really worth it. So just in general, I think she's an easy skip unless she's an Oshi for you, because while she has some of those convenience features, I really don't like her wanting to be in the back. That's just the big negative to me, is wanting to be in the back for everything to trigger. Enclosers have a lot of stuff like that, but I try to make them super strong, and if you're strong against your competition, you're hampering yourself with an ult that can't do anything. It's kind of the one reason I've kind of fallen off from Gold Ship as well, because her ult's a push-up one where you need to be in the back mid-race, but it's a mid-race skill, and so it's very good at helping push her very far forward versus wanting to be in the back already late race. And then she's kind of when you kind of look to whether or not you want to pull her with relation to everything else around her, she's just in a very bad spot for that as well. She's getting paired with the Fine Motion Kawakami Princess rerun banner here, which I'll be talking about here in my next video, whether or not you want to pull for that. Alongside then Kita-san Black, which is now your front-running long meta Uma. Now we will get free pulls on this, and so this one to me is a very good banner to pull on, just because she's a meta inherit for the long front runners. She's meta herself, and she's basically discounted to pity because we're getting free pulls on it. Now I feel like NTR, it's a big banner. It's gonna be an easy skip for everybody, so I wouldn't really consider this in your calculations. Free to plays and anyone that really can't afford to spend, in my opinion, shouldn't pull on this banner. You just have, like, I would take, like, just save your pulls off this one. Just use Kita-san Black. I mean, it's 5% race bonus, but she has at least Professor of Curvature. Yeah, she's a little bit more consistent for the stats with her unique and all that, and having the gold, but I just don't think it's good enough. And trying to get Admire Vega is just a gamble on blowing a ton of carrots and walking away in a bad position. Now, you do have some time after that before any other big ones, but still, I feel like Admire Vega is just not good enough. Save your carrots. There's a lot of big hitters coming up, unless she's an Oshi. But overall, that is my thoughts on Admire Vega, and if you like my content, if you could like, comment, subscribe, it really helps, and thanks for watching.